Right, so Liverpool have just got done playing Ajax in the Champions League, and what a result that was. First off, can I just start off by saying that, mate, that was so important that we went out and got that result for many, many reasons. One, because if we win, we go through. Another reason was because, obviously, if we did get to win that game, then we had the most comfortable last game ever in Midfield, where we literally have nothing to play for in that game. Now we have nothing to play for in that game. Now we can go and play whoever the hell we want. And the thing is, it gives me a headache when it comes to the Midfield starting 11 prediction and score prediction. But I don't really care, because I'm just made up that my manager gets to rest a few of his players. Isn't it mad the way that we've got to a point where a game where you can rest is like massive? It's like a trophy in itself, because that's what it's like for Liverpool right now. It's like every time we can get a rest, it's boss, and you know, it's got to be like that, because we're dropping like flies. But what a result last night against Ajax, and I am here to do the player ratings for you. So, I've basically got all the players that played yesterday on this note here. Hopefully you can see that alright. But no, mate, it's a sound little... It's just, you know what, it's one of them games. It was one of them games where Liverpool was not vintage Liverpool. Can we just establish that? And even though it weren't vintage Liverpool, it was still one of them performances to the point where you can be so proud of your team. So proud of your team, like, because of the fight and the effort and everything else that went into that performance. And obviously, this is why I want to do these player ratings, because it allows me to actually reminisce on the game as a whole and actually look at everything Liverpool did well. I've even watched the game back, and you've just got to understand what we done yesterday was fantastic. And neutrals will be like, well, Liverpool fans, how are you buzzing about? You know, it's only a 1-0 against Ajax. No, 2 1-0 wins against Ajax. The first English team to beat them on English soil. No, wait, I think that's the... Yeah, that's the same. Yeah, I'm right. So, Ajax have never been beat on English soil. You know what I mean? They've never beat... In fact, there was a fun little fact by one of the commentators. It was like, can you do it on a rainy night in Stoke? And then Steve McManaman was like, nah. And then Ajax played Stoke, I think it was in 1984. And it was actually in Stoke. And it was raining. And it was 0-0. So no, Ajax could not do it on a rainy night in Stoke. And I think they had like 5 World Cup players that day. So that was an insane little thing to hear. So no, Ajax cannot do it on a rainy night in Stoke, and they can't do it at Anfield, and they couldn't do it at Anfield tonight, and they couldn't even do it at their stadium. We were great, people. We held them off, and you've just got to realise, tactically, we were fantastic. Anyway, I won't ramble anymore. Let's get into these player ratings. So, Kelleher, our goalkeeper, the man that was actually the surprise of the whole evening, not only based on his performance, but even all the way from an hour before the game, where we find out he's in the starting 11, above Adrian, by the way. Let me just talk about Alisson. I know he never played, and I know it's not relevant to the game, but it's just a shame to see him out again. I'm actually going to do a video on Alisson later, but to lose him, you think that's your most important player. I've been boasting that I think, and it's only my opinion, let me know if you disagree, I think Alisson is probably, maybe besides Henzo, our most important player. And I feel like he's crucial to the leadership of that backline. I feel like he's crucial to the fact that he's actually... I think he's the best goalkeeper in the world, but it's fair enough if you don't agree with that. But one thing you can't disagree with, Alisson's in top 3. You can't disagree with me on that, and I feel like that if you do disagree with me on that, then you just don't watch him enough to have a proper opinion on him. That's just my opinion, though. Anyway, based on Kelleher, you've got to... The way I've got to give Kelleher his rating is, what did we expect from him? As we find out that he just gets put in to a Champions League game, a very important Champions League game against Ajax. By the way, not only is it an important game against Ajax, he's actually just conceded 7 in an under-23s game. Can't remember the team who it was against. I think it was a 7-2 game, funnily enough. Even not the Aston Villa game, by the way. Literally a couple of days ago, he was in goal for the under-23s and conceded 7. Where was his confidence? Didn't matter. He came in and he done everything he needed to do. Can we not underestimate how boss it is for a goalkeeper that doesn't usually start to come in and do everything that he needs to do? And more, by the way. He made some world-class saves, in my opinion, in that game. I thought Kelleher was fantastic. Not only was his shot-stopping fantastic, but his distribution. And listen, we talk about distribution and people say, oh, distribution. What the fuck's distribution? Distribution's very important. And listen, like Jordan Pickford, he's only a Premier League goalkeeper because he's missed the distribution. That's the only reason. And he makes an okay save every once in a while. Other than that, he can't catch a ball, he can't do these other things. Kelleher demonstrated distribution as well as the other attributes you need to be a solid goalkeeper. And I think we forget, Kelleher's training with Alisson And if he's not the best goalkeeper in the world, then he's up there. He's one of them. And to be training with one of the best goalkeepers in the world should improve you a little bit if you think about it. And Kelleher has been at Liverpool for a very long time. And, you know, we had his last performance against Shrewsbury not over a year ago, just under a year ago, by the way. People were probably doubting him because of that last impression that he made. I've been saying for a while, get Kelleher in above Adrian. And people ask the question, is that the end of Adrian? Has Kelleher just put the nail in the Adrian coffin? I think he has, and rightly so. Adrian looked sad on the bench yesterday, and I don't really understand why. Now, I'm just going off the fact he looked sad. I'm not sure if he actually was. But when Adrian plays, he doesn't look confident, and he actually doesn't really look like he wants to be there, in my opinion. I'll support him if he is in net again, but I don't think we need to see him again after that performance. Don't get me wrong, though. Kelleher will probably make mistakes at some point in the future. He will, but it's about us as Liverpool fans to back him. So, for the Kelleher rating, based on the fact that we didn't expect that much from him, for the fact that, do you know what, mate? For the fact that he actually put in a much better performance than what we all could have hoped, I'm going with a 10. As you can see, I scribbled out 9, but got to go with a 10 for Kelleher, 100%. Right, so the next player that we're going to talk about is Nico Williams. It was the night of the youngsters, weren't it? And I've got to start off with Nico Williams in terms of the outfield players, because you know what? This game was a lot bigger for him than what we'd all expected. Not just because he was getting stick, not just because he's had a few poor games, but he's facing David Neres, a very good winger. I put him in that category in with, you know, whatever below world class is, I'll put him in there. That's where I'll put David Neres. Very tricky winger, one that's going to cause you problems. Even if Trent was playing, I think that's a problem. Do you know what I mean? Dealt with it fine, held his own defensively, but offensively shown that he does train with Trent. He trains with Trent, motherfuckers, and you can see it. What a cross. It was a bit of a mad one, but what a cross. I mean, at the same time, you've got to give the credit to Curtis Jones, who we will talk about in a bit. But even some of the balls that he was putting in, he even had a great chance that if it weren't for Mo Salah, he could have actually had a goal. Nico Williams, what a great night it would have been for him, and what a night it would have been for us to be there, the Liverpool fans, because, you know, hearing us cheer for him and, you know, supporting him would have been better. And even though I do not associate myself with the Liverpool fans that have not been supporting Nico, it's not even that I have a problem with you slating his performances. That's fine. It's literally just when you're going in further than what you need to when he's a young kid with actually a lot of promise. I'm going to go with a solid 8 out of 10. People might say that's being a bit harsh, but I think an 8 out of 10 for Nico Williams is certainly good enough, because that's better than what I would have expected, and that's better than what I'm sure he would have expected, Klopp would have, and all of you as well. So 8 for Nico. Centre-backs, Joel Matip and Fabinho, we'll do them in one. Both boss, both fantastic, both solid. Joel Matip, can we just talk about how good Joel Matip is? Yes, Van Dijk is a big loss in that defence, but when Joel Matip can stay fit, I'm going to say, you know, he's one of the best centre-backs in the league. And you could put him in the conversation for the world. And I'm not saying, listen, to be one of the best centre-backs in the world, you've got to play week in, week out. But I'm just saying off ability when he does play, and off consistency when he plays, off percentages when he plays. He has an 8 plus every game. 8 out of 10 plus. This was a 9 for Matip for me. I thought everything that he done was fantastic, so let me just put that in. A 9 for Matip. And then Fabinho, someone who's just coming off a very shaky game to Brighton. You know, he was exploited for his pace a lot in that game. Looked solid, got in front of shots, did not give a fuck. He doesn't care. Fabinho's Fabinho, and he does what he wants. And for that reason, Fabinho will get a 8 out of 10 for me. And a clean sheet as well. How can you really give anyone? So Matip, a 9, and Fabinho, a 10. Next position, we go with Robbo. Robbo is the next player to talk about. Listen, what can we say about our Robbo? More so than what was a very solid defensive performance, to get injured in what was very early on in the game from an unknown sort of thing that happened. I mean, from the camera angle they've shown us, it didn't look like that was actually the thing that caused the injury. The fact that he carried on the whole game, the whole 90 minutes, by the way, is just, it's not really heard of nowadays in players. That's that type of fight and that type of passion, and Robbo's got that all in abundance. And Robbo, in my opinion, is the best fullback in the world. Fullback. Include right backs in that conversation. I think right now, who tops Robbo? Who tops Robbo? For everything. He's just got his country into the Euros for the first time in how long? He's a Premier League winner. He's a Champions League winner. He works hard week in, week out. He plays endless minutes. And not only does he play, he puts in 100%. People talk about Paul Pogba being one of the best players in the world. Maybe not as much anymore, but in general, on his day. But Robbo's day comes way more often, and his day is fantastic. Defensively, he's up there with the best. Attacking-wise, I can't think of a better left-back. Maybe Alphonso Davies, but I don't think he's a better than Robbo attacking. I really don't, even though he's a winger. I think Robbo is elite, and we will always remember Robbo for these type of performances. And this was a crucial win, more so, not just for the fact it was Ajax, not just for the fact we needed to go through. If you go on to win the Champions League, this game is all the more bigger. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm going to go with a solid 8 out of 10 for Robbo. I thought he was fantastic. So my back 5 concludes Kelleher a 10, Nico an 8, Matip a 9, Fabinho an 8, and Robbo an 8. Let me know if you agree in the comments down below. So midfield, Hendo, Jones and Gini, that was the way the midfield lines up. Very, very good performance from the midfield. Again, like I said, after the Brighton game, you see how much better the team is with Hendo. I'm going to give Hendo a solid... do you know what? I've got to give him an 8 because I don't think he's done much more to warrant like a 9 or a 10. I feel like you've got to do something very standout. But at the same time, in fact, no, an 8.5 for Hendo. You won't even be able to see the 5 that much, but just remember, I'm saying a Hendo, an 8.5, because some of the passes that he was springing in that game, very Iniesta and Xavi-esque. Xabi Alonso as well, by the way. Let's throw him in that conversation. It was fantastic. And, you know... You can see that Jordan Henderson's leadership is now shining through a lot more, and it's boss to see, mate, and it's great to see that. He's not only a captain, he's not only just a player on the pitch, but he's the most crucial player on that pitch, and that's what you want your captain to be. That's what Gerrard was, that's what, you know, Roy Keane was. That's what Jordan Henderson is. Watch the first half of the Brighton game and watch the second half of the Brighton game, and then watch the full game of that Ajax game. We have more control when Henderson's there. And it's fantastic. And look at who he's playing around. He's playing around a different midfield every week. He's phenomenal, man. So an 8.5 for Hendo. Oh no, I've just done that for Fabinho. For fuck's sake, James, right. So Jones, in fact, now we'll do Gini first. I'm going to give Gini... Gini Wijnaldum. Man should have the new contract by now, but it doesn't matter because I know it will get done. It should get done. Better get done. Gini Wijnaldum. Coming up against the Dutch side, he knows a lot of their players very well. You've just got to give him more credit for the fact that he's played, 3 million minutes, 4 million minutes this season. He's been fantastic. He is a great player. He has so much to offer. And I think yesterday he might have not been one of the more standout men, but he was in a very good bunch of players yesterday who all worked for that result. I'm going to give Gini a 7.5. Again, I feel like an 8 is a very good performance. I don't think you can say he had a very good performance, but you can say he had a good performance and he done what he needed to do. The only thing about Gini is that he has more to offer, in my opinion. I feel like he can spring better passes than what he does sometimes. I feel like he plays it too safe. And if he didn't do that, he could be another level of a world-class player. And I think he is world-class. Say what you want, but I think Gini is world-class. And then Curtis Jones, let me just do it now. 10 out of 10 for Curtis Jones. That's my midfield. Hendo 8.5, Gini 7.5, and Curtis Jones a 10 out of 10. Why am I giving Curtis Jones a 10 out of 10? Without the goal, I probably would give him like what? Maybe a 7, but he's got the winning goal. Nah, not a 7. 7.5 or an 8, possibly. I thought he actually had a good game. Bear in mind, a 7.5 is good. This is the way I rate 1 to 10. 1 to 5 is kind of shit. You know, 1 to 4 shit. 5 is like your touch on average, but you're still below average. 6, average. And anything above that is above average. So between 6 and like 7.5 is sound. And then anything above that is actually very, very good. So that's the way I think of these player ratings. But you've got to give Curtis Jones the 10 because without the goal he gets 7.5, with the goal he wins us the game. So I'll give him a 9.5, round that up to a 10. 10 out of 10 for Curtis Jones. Great goal. And the one thing that I noticed about the goal, and I don't know if you agree with me, and maybe this is just because I'm shit, but I don't think he could have left that goal any last second than what he did. Does that make sense? Like, I don't think he can leave that. Like, if he leaves that goal, ball. So the ball's whipped in by Nico Williams, and it's floating all the way to Curtis Jones' foot. But like, he should really hit it with his right as well, to be fair. But he leaves it to his left. That just shows confidence. That shows supreme confidence. Curtis Jones, Nico Williams, and all these players, when they're playing and training around all these world-class players, Hendo Ninos, Sadio Mane's, Mohamed Salah's, Josephinho Gomez, like all these, well, not right now, but you know what I mean, even in general, even just seeing Virgil van Dijk being there, This is only boss for them. Just think, Steven Gerrard didn't even have these level of players and level of manager to grow with. Curtis Jones and that already do. And Curtis Jones, most importantly, has the ability and talent to back it up. Great performance. Another game that he's won for Liverpool as well, because remember, he won us a derby sometime last year. Just remember that. Fantastic from Curtis Jones, man. Brilliant. What a year it's been for him as well to score a winning goal in the Champions League game, which gets us through to the round of 16 and beating Everton in the FA Cup. Unbelievable. Now we move on to the front three, which started as Mane, Jota and Salah. Now, one thing I've done, I've put Jota on the wing and Salah in the middle, but they played different positions. But you know how our front three do it. They do kind of however they please. I'll start off with the best player in the world in Sadio Mane. I feel like that's only fair. I don't think he was great. I'm going to give Mane a 6.5, probably one of the lower ratings. No, that's a bit harsh. Not a 6.5, 7.5, because I've actually got a reason why I've just changed that. A 7.5 for Mane, purely based on the fact that I feel like he can offer more, but I also feel like he needs another rest, and that's why that Midfield game is all the more better. And I don't think he was the worst attacker today. I will tell you who my worst attacker was in a minute, but I just think it's hard for Mane to get fully involved in a game when the other attackers aren't fully on form. But that being said, he's still done the track and back, and he's still done the attacking, and you still noticed Mane, he was still getting big chances. Didn't quite put them away every occasion, but he was still getting in positions and he was still being dangerous. That's what you want from Mane. That's why I'm going to give him a 7.5. Mohamed Salah, the other winger. Some people said had a bad game. I thought had a sound game, and let me tell you why. I'm going to give Salah a 7. I don't think he was better than Mane, but I do still think. That being said, Mo Salah was quite quiet yesterday, but also you've got to realise people like Curtis Jones and Gini Wijnaldum just weren't noticing the runs that Mo Salah was making from time to time. And he was making a lot of them, and when you're constantly making runs that, if they are played and they're executed perfectly, you will be through on goal, and you're most likely going to get a goal if you get a couple of chances. And Mo Salah had 1 or 2, maybe even 3 of them occasions yesterday in that game. If he gets played through and he scores a few goals, he's a 10 out of 10, isn't he? But because he weren't played through, which isn't his fault, he's lower. So I don't think he had a bad game. I think it was the players around him not quite noticing him. And that's the sad thing about attackers. Sometimes they don't even get it played to, and it's hard for them to get involved just by themselves. Anyway, to finish it off with Jota, one of his worst performances, but he weren't bad. He weren't bad at all. He was still sound. I'll give Jota a 7. Showing glimpses. I feel like we saw that he's a good passer of the ball. I feel like we saw he's got good vision. He's hungry. Everything in that. I think Jota was good today. I'm going to give him a 7. Then we'll move on to substitutes and the manager. Firmino, I'm going to give Firmino a 9. I don't know about you. I thought Firmino was boss when he came on. Never got the goal in the 83rd minute like he should. But he's starting to look more confident, and he's starting to look more like the old Bobby Firmino. I don't know what you think, but that's just me. And then Reece Williams, I didn't really see much of him, so I'll just give him I'll give him a 10 out of 10. Because why not? And Jurgen Klopp, a 10 out of 10 as well. Listen, set out the team perfectly under the circumstances. Shouldn't have to go ahead and win that game, even though it's at home. Still goes ahead and wins that game. Fantastic performance all round. Fantastic win to get to the next round. Let me know who your man of the match was. To conclude this video, my man of the match was Kelleher. And I think that's a fair one. I mean, outfield player, probably, maybe Matip, based on our overall performance. I thought Curtis Jones deserved it because of the goal. But overall performance, based on what they actually done, besides goals and assists and stuff, I feel like Matip just was such a leader. But like I said, let me know in the comments down below what you think, people. Thank you for watching this video.